If you were to step into a time machine and travel back to London, Paris, or New York in the year 1600, the first thing you would notice isn't the architecture or the clothes. It would be the smell. It would hit you like a physical wall. The truth is, for a huge chunk of human history, we stink badly, but it wasn't just about smelling good, it was about staying alive. Before we understood germs, invisible killers wiped out millions of people simply because we didn't wash our hands. Today, we take that little bar of soap in our shower for granted. But the story of how it got there is actually bizarre. It involves animal sacrifice, a fear of water, attacks on cleanliness, and a floating accident that changed marketing forever. This is the slippery, bubbly, and surprisingly dark history of how soap was invented. To understand where soap comes from, we have to look at what it's actually made of. If you go to a high-end beauty shop today, they will sell you soap made of lavender, olive oil, and shea butter. But the original recipe was much less glamorous. The fundamental ingredients of soap are fat and ash, that's it. If you mix rendered animal fat like cow or sheep grease with the alkaline ash from a fire, a chemical reaction happens. It's called saponification. It turns to gross things into one cleaning miracle. The oldest proof we have of this mixture comes from ancient Babylon. Around 2800 BC, archaeologists found clay cylinders containing a soap-like substance. But here is the twist. They didn't use it to wash their bodies. They used it to wash wool for the textile industry. For thousands of years, soap was a tool for cleaning clothes or treating skin diseases, not for personal hygiene. There is a famous Roman legend that gives us the name soap. The story goes that on Mount Sapo, the Romans would sacrifice animals to the gods. They would burn the animals, and the fat would drip down into the hot wood ashes. When it rained, this mixture of fat and ash would wash down the mountain into the clay soil of the Tiber River. Local women washing their clothes in the river noticed that the water near Mount Sapo made their clothes much cleaner with much less effort. It's a great story, but historians aren't 100% sure it's true. However, it does explain why we call it soap and the process saponification. But if the Romans had soap, why did Europe essentially stop bathing for 1,000 years? After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered the Middle Ages, and cleanliness took a nosedive. The public baths of Rome fell into ruin, but it wasn't just laziness, it was fear. In medieval Europe, people were terrified of water. The prevailing medical theory was that warm water opened up your pores. They believed that if your pores were open, the bad air, or miasma that caused the Black Death and other plagues would enter your body and kill you. So people genuinely believed that being covered in a layer of dirt and sweat was a protective shield. Queen Elizabeth I of England, who was considered a fashion icon of her time, famously said, "I take a bath once a month, whether I need it or not," and she was the clean one. While Europe was busy being filthy, the Middle East was keeping the soap tradition alive. During the Islamic Golden Age, cities like Aleppo in Syria and Nablus in Palestine were producing high-quality soaps made from olive oil and laurel oil. It was hard, pleasant-smelling, and effective. When the Crusaders returned to Europe from the Holy Land, they brought this fancy soap back with them. Suddenly, the wealthy elite in Europe realized that maybe smelling like a barn wasn't necessary. This led to the creation of Castile soap in Spain and similar industries in Italy and France. But there was a catch. Soap was incredibly expensive. It was a luxury item strictly for the aristocracy. In England, for a long time, there was actually a heavy tax on soap. The tax collectors would lock up the soap boiling pans at night to make sure no one was making illegal, tax-free soap. Cleanliness was literally illegal for the poor. The turning point, the moment soap went from a luxury for kings to a necessity for everyone, happened during the Industrial Revolution. In 1791, a French chemist named Nicolas Leblanc figured out how to make soda ash, a key ingredient from common salt. Salt was cheap and everywhere. Suddenly, you didn't need to burn huge amounts of rare wood to get the ash. Shortly after, another French scientist Michel Chevreul cracked the chemistry of fats. Before him, soap making was just guessing. He turned it into a science. Now, factories could pump out tons of soap for pennies. The tax was repealed, and suddenly, the average factory worker could afford to wash their face. But just because people could buy soap didn't mean they wanted to. Old habits die hard. If you've gone your whole life washing with just water or dry wiping with a cloth, why start spending money on this chemical block? This is where the story shifts from chemistry to marketing. The late 1800s saw the rise of the advertising giants we still know today. Companies like Procter & Gamble and Unilever were born in this era. They had to convince the public that being clean was moral, healthy, and sophisticated. One of the biggest accidents in business history happened in 1879. A worker at Procter & Gamble forgot to turn off the mixing machine for a batch of their white soap. He went to lunch, and the machine whipped a massive amount of air into the mixture. Instead of throwing the ruined batch away, they cut it into bars and shipped it out. A few weeks later, the company started getting letters from customers asking for more of the floating soap. Because of the air bubbles, the bar didn't sink in the bathtub. This was a huge deal because bath water back then was often murky and dirty. If you dropped the soap, you lost it. P&G rebranded it as Ivory Soap, and their slogan was that it was 99 and 40 for 100% pure. It became an American icon. At the same time, we finally started to understand germs. During the American Civil War and the Crimean War, we realized that more soldiers were dying from infection than from bullets. Figures like Florence Nightingale championed hygiene. When people realized that washing their hands with soap could literally stop them from dying of cholera or dysentery, soap became a medical necessity. By the early 1900s, soap was everywhere. But the evolution wasn't over. The world wars changed soap again. During World War I and II, there was a shortage of animal fats and vegetable oils because they were needed for food and explosives. Soap makers had to find an alternative. German scientists had developed a synthetic cleaner made from petroleum byproducts. These were not technically soaps, they were detergents. They worked better in cold water and didn't leave that gross scum ring in the bathtub that natural soap did. After the war, these detergents took over. Today, if you look at your body wash, shampoo, or laundry liquid, it's almost certainly a detergent, not a traditional soap. Real soap, made from fat and ash, is actually quite rare in the supermarket aisle now, usually reserved for the natural or artisan section. We also saw the invention of liquid soap. It was originally patented in 1865, but it was unpopular until a man named Robert Taylor decided to sell it under the name soft soap in the 1970s. He knew big companies would copy him, so he did something crazy. He bought the entire world's supply of the little plastic pumps needed for the bottles. For a year, no one else could sell liquid soap because Taylor had all the pumps sitting in a warehouse. By the time the others caught up, he owned the market. So where does that leave us? Today, soap is the first line of defense in global health. When pandemics hit, the first advice isn't take this pill, it's wash your hands. That simple chemical reaction that binds to the virus and tears it apart is more powerful than some of our most advanced medicines. It's strange to think that for thousands of years, humanity was walking around carrying the cure for so many diseases, but we were just using it to wash wool. From the ashes of Roman sacrifices to the factories of the Industrial Revolution, the bar of soap has had a long, slippery journey. So the next time you're in the shower and you reach for that bar or that bottle, take a second to appreciate it. You are holding the result of 5,000 years of chemistry, wars, and accidents. And unlike Queen Elizabeth, please use it more than once a month. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep scrub into history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more stories about the hidden history of everyday objects coming up, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. See you in the next video.